Today on a very wholesome episode of the podcast, what do you do when you want a boyfriend, but you don't want to make out?
Did you know that the way you butter your toast reveals a lot about your personality? Let's find out together what our preferred methods say about us.
Okay, and we share our favorite G-rated movies of all time, safe for the whole family, except for Toy Story 4.
All this and more on episode 26 of the Blimey podcast. Was Toy Story 4 rated
G? No, G.
Oh.
That should have been a PG-13.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Blimey podcast. Every Friday, we try to make the world a little less messy. My name is Josh.
And I'm Jordan. Thanks to our supporters at supportblimeycow.com for making this show possible. If you've thought about becoming a supporter, now is a great time to do it because we have some awesome things in the works for the new year, but more on that soon.
This week's question is, would you rather listen to only one album of your choice for the rest of your life or only one genre of music?
I know the answer. Check out the Clips channel, everything you love about the podcast without the time commitment. Over 600 subs at Blimey Cow Clips. Go check that out. BlimeyCow.com/
Blimey Cow.
It's youtube.com/ at Blimey Cow Clips.
There you go. All right, let's get to our top stories. Now, Jordan, as you briefly mentioned, it is a great time to join the Cowmunity because in the next year, it is going to be the 10th anniversary of when we launched our Patreon campaign. So we've had a supporter community for nearly 10 years, and so
That's some street cred.
That is some street cred, and I've been thinking a lot about what kinds of things we can do for the 10-year anniversary. In fact, I wanted to start asking you and talking to you about it right before, but we had to start recording, so I said, we'll talk about it later. But I have lots of fun ideas to share, and I'm excited to see what you think about it. But yeah, anyway, so this is a really good time to join right now because I think we're going to have some kind of like built-in goodies for the people that are already...
I have an idea.
Okay.
For the 10th anniversary,
Yes.
we select 10 people and give each of them $10,000.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
Mr. Beast. We could do a Mr. Beast challenge.
I've got a better idea.
$10,000.
What if we made it $100,000?
$100,000 each.
All right.
That's interesting to you. Join.
Go ahead and tell us your news. What you got going on?
Oh. Josh, all right. I have thought, I visited Florida, and there was this, I was with our aunt and uncle and our cousins.
Yes.
And we all went out to eat with this girl who they knew. And she was doing a triathlon. Mm-hmm. And her and I just talked for a long time, because I'm like the only person in that area who knew about that stuff. So I was giving her tips on the cycling portion because she was kind of new to this. So I was like, inflate your tires to this much because she was worried it was going to be raining. So I was trying to give her these tips, and she's like, wow, you should be my coach. She has a coach, but I was giving her like this like insight details of the stuff. And she was like, my coach didn't tell me any of this. And I was like, what is this guy doing? So anyways, it got me thinking, what if I did a triathlon? Because that's what she was going to do. I've been thinking about this for a while. What if I did an IRONMAN?
And what is an IRONMAN?
That's where you do, like, I think it's the 2.1 mile swim. You can correct me. 2.1 mile swim, then a 100-mile bike ride after that, then a full marathon right after that. You do that all in one day. And if you can complete it before...
How is anybody able to do that?
Some people do that, like, in an ungodly amount of time. And, like, short. It's crazy. I would just want to do it just to complete it.
I would be afraid to try to swim that length.
Yeah. I'm not worried about any individual one as much as it's just like the whole, where it's like that's a huge stress on the body. But that's not healthy.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to imagine doing a marathon. It's hard to imagine going 100 miles on a bike.
It's hard to imagine running that distance. It's hard to imagine swimming.
Yeah. You said it's 100 miles on the bike?
Yeah, it's like the hardest of everything. Like if you think like you're gonna do 100 miles on a bike, you're gonna run 26.2. You're gonna swim 2 miles.
What's the furthest distance you've ever biked and then that you've ever run?
I think that I've ever run was like 11 miles. That I ever cycled was 77 miles.
You've never gone 100 miles on a bike?
There was no reason for me to because I never.
Oh, I thought you told me you've done that before. Oh, okay. But you could.
Yeah, I mean, I could have kept going, but it was like, well, I'm not training forever to go 100 miles because my races were 50 miles, 50, 60 miles. So I'm never going to go further than that.
How long does it take to swim 2 miles?
I have no frame of reference.
That's what I'm saying.
Zero.
What if I don't? That's just the thing that I have no experience with, so it scares me to think about.
Yeah, I no frame of reference.
And all I know is that after you get in a pool and just do a few laps, you're already tired.
Yeah, that's a
even being
crazy
in shape.
Workout. Yeah, it's a weird thing
because you have to work out your whole body at that point.
It's a great workout. That is. Yeah. I'm just curious. I know that's not healthy physically to be able to do. Not at all. I mean, I don't even think there's an argument that that's healthy to do. Yeah. Like even for people that think that like Tour de France cyclists are some of the healthiest people when they're like some of the least healthy people. Yeah. Not natural, not normal. But I think the thing that would be interesting, I'm not interested in like the physical nature of it. I'm interested in the psychological aspect of it. That is where I think it is healthy to push yourself to that limit where you know you're going to want to stop when you're at mile 75 on the bike and you got to.
So is the marathon the last thing you do?
And then you run a marathon because you're going to want to stop at mile 80 for me on the bike probably. Yeah. And then it's like, well, I got to keep going and then I got to run a marathon after this. I want to know what that feels like at that point where it's like, I am not going to stop.
Yeah.
That would be a very interesting moment.
That's crazy. And how long would it take to go 100 miles on a bike?
Solo?
For you. Like if you were doing it.
If I was doing solo on a flat, if you average 20 miles an hour on a time trial bike, then that's 5 hours?
So 5 hours and then a half marathon is going to take you probably like 4.
Yeah, so you would be on, and then you would be on.
I mean, if not longer, because now you're already so exhausted, you're probably just.
You would probably be running that average probably for not a talented runner, probably 11-minute miles.
Right, so that
after
could take
all that.
That's at least like 5 hours.
Yeah,
I think.
You would probably be out there for 11 hours.
Total? I think it would be longer than that because the bike would take you 4 or 5 hours. The run would take you 5 hours. That's 10 hours right there. So how long? That's the thing. So how long is the swim going to take?
I think the swim would probably take an hour. I could be completely wrong, and I laugh at me in the comments. No clue, but maybe an hour and a half
to go how many miles?
I think it's 2. I'm not sure. Dude, I have again no frame of reference.
I mean, God bless you if you try to do it. I'll be there. I'll cheer you on the entire time. I'll follow you in a car. I would the whole way.
You would not be allowed on the course. That's the problem. You just
get him out of here. So I guess at that point, it's about completing it, not like your time.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
If I did a marathon, I would be interested in my time.
Right.
If I was good at that. But an Ironman, it's just I'm doing this once. I just want to say I did it. Want to know.
Even just a marathon though, like you probably have to stop to go to the bathroom. Like it's 4 hours, and you're having to drink as you go. So you probably end up having to.
I wonder.
Pee at least once or twice.
I don't know.
You would imagine.
I don't know. I mean, I've been out on the bike for 4 hours before, and you don't go one time.
Interesting.
But that's unusual for people because I for some reason that's normal for me, but not others.
Whenever I even do half marathons, but I think part of it is that when I'm getting nervous, I need to use the restroom, like my bladder.
That happens to me before I I ride, and then while I'm riding, it's like I'm just not thinking about it at all.
That's interesting. That's actually the number one thing that I get the most nervous about before a run is I don't want to have to pee this whole time.
That's annoying.
But then it's like, but I know I need to stay hydrated before, so then literally the whole time I'm like, man, I gotta go to the bathroom.
That's annoying. Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
You should do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
I dare you. All right, let's get to the question of the week. Okay, Jordan. Last week's question was, would you rather live on a large farm or a large penthouse in the city?
Yes.
With the assumption being that it's paid
equity.
for. The equity. You get the, so, the large penthouse is probably worth more.
Probably.
I actually posted, I've done this before, I posted in our supportblimeycow.com community to see what people thought, and you know what? Most people want to live on a large farm. 12% said large penthouse in the city, though.
Yeah. It's hard because I feel like the majority of people actually would like the penthouse more if they really thought about it.
Right.
But I like that the attention is shifting to the farm. I really like that. Mine answer is obviously the farm. I don't care about anything else.
Yeah. I think with the farm, you feel like, okay, I actually have something of value here. Whereas the value of a large penthouse is very reliant on what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Okay, is this a populated area?
How is the place safe now?
Right.
Who is in charge
yeah,
now?
Exactly.
Messing things up.
Right. There's so many external factors, whereas a farm, okay, well, I can grow food here. I can have animals here.
Endless possibilities.
Endless possibilities. The penthouse is literally just like, okay, what's going on today?
Yeah, the penthouse is easier and you have more money from the equity. The farm is infinitely harder.
Yeah.
And so much more work, but more fulfilling.
Right.
Less money.
Right. Yeah. So I would go with the farm too. 100%.
Yeah. This week's question: would you rather listen to only one album of your choice for the rest of your life, or only one genre of music for the rest of your life?
I left this open-ended. You know, it can be a genre that you like, but you can only listen to one type of music. So pop, rap, country, whatever. You have to pick one. Or do you want to pick one album that you just truly love and just listen to it all the time?
Man, that is hard. I thought I had an answer, but now I'm confused.
You ladies all right?
You ladies all right?
Josh, I don't even remember what mine is.
Okay, let's see what you got.
But it's funny. I know that.
Beautiful day, got my Bible, I'm ready to go.
Receba a inteligência.
Okay. Oh, funny.
I don't know if that's actually what that kid said. Thought I failed 3 tests. Here's
Received the
intelligence.
gift of intelligence.
I don't know if he said that.
Couldn't tell you. You ready to answer our message?
I guess so. Let's just jump into it. Dear Jordan and Josh, I am in my 20s and have never dated anyone seriously. Most guys I talk to who seem interested at first find out that I don't want to make out until I know they are the one. But apparently, that is a huge turnoff for them. Guys tell me that making out helps you know if y'all are compatible, but I believe this is false. Making out makes you feel like you are in love, and I don't want to base a lifelong decision off of the crazy amounts of dopamine being released in my brain. I don't want to change my standards / boundaries, but at this point, I think I'm going to be single forever. What should I do? I mean, look, if you could either, this is what we should ask the question. This is the question for this week, guys.
Okay.
Would you rather make out with 100 people that you don't love, and be single and marry the wrong person?
Sounds terrible
after
so far.
100 people, or never make out with anybody and be single the rest of your life? Because nobody will. That's what this question is.
Say that
Okay,
again.
this girl is saying, look, Jordan, here's the question. Look, Jordan and Josh. Would I rather kiss 100 guys that I'm dating, whoever I'm dating in my life? Would I rather kiss 4 guys and pick the wrong guy because I was just making out with them and all this dopamine? So I married the wrong person. Or would I rather never make out with anybody and never get married because all the bad guys are just wanting to make out with them?
So the options are marry the wrong person or just and realize you made a mistake.
By making out with 30 guys.
Or just don't marry anybody.
Because your standards are high and it's not right to make out with every guy that you're dating.
Okay.
That's a great question right there.
Feel free to respond to either question.
Yeah.
The genre of music thing or the makeout thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I don't know. I mean, this pool of dudes is just horrible.
Yeah.
So what's up? I mean, like, we don't want to marry these people.
Yeah.
Don't make out with these people.
That's
Don't
how
marry
I
these
feel
people.
about it too. It's like I think maybe it obviously it's fine if you don't want to make out with anybody, and I'm guessing that you just haven't met somebody who makes that kind of thing interesting to you. That the prospect of that will be attractive to you once you meet the right person.
Right.
but you don't have to feel like a weirdo or whatever because you don't want to, it's not this all powerful, important thing.
But to these guys,
everybody needs to calm down.
To these guys, is all that matters. That's the question you have to ask yourself. Is it worth it to be single forever if you don't make out with all these creepy guys?
No. I mean, yes.
It's her choice.
Jordan, do you remember the Rocket Town Girls?
The Rocket Town Girls. Is that a band?
No, there were girls we met at Rocket Town one time. And you remember they were making you feel weird? I remember being very protective of you one time when you were probably, I don't know, 12 or 13. And they were saying they wanted to make out with you or something. And I stepped in, I was like, what's going on over here? They wanted, and then they, I don't know how, but they found me at the mall where I was working, and they came to the mall and they were just like, yeah, I was just making out with that guy over there.
Yeah, I do remember them. I kind of remember what they look like.
Yeah, I know.
One like they looked like cartoon characters.
Yeah.
Well, Rocket Town people normally did, but it was like one was smaller and one was bigger.
No, well,
right?
One was taller and one was shorter.
Yeah, that's what it was. One was taller and one was shorter, and they looked like cartoon characters.
Yeah, yeah. They just. I
remember them.
They were.
But they were like weird, sincere, but like just on the wrong track.
I know. That's how I felt too. So I tried to talk to them.
Yeah.
Because they didn't feel like lost causes. And they were our age.
You just feel bad for them.
Yeah, but it was just so weird. I just remember being whatever age I would have been at that time, 15, 16 years. I guess if I was working at the mall, I was probably like 16. Just thinking that was so weird. This girl, the shorter one was younger. I want to say she was probably your age. So she was probably like 12 or 13. She's like, yeah, I was just making out with that guy over there for a minute, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, the guy you just met? Some guy you just met?
Yeah, it's going to get much worse than that.
That was so strange to me. I wasn't like... scandalized. I was just confused. I was like, why would you do that?
I actually remember us befriending them to some extent. I think that we were friends with them later, like on MySpace a little bit or something.
Maybe. I don't know. I just remember seeing them at Rocket Town, and then for some reason I saw them at the mall.
I remember that story. I remember you coming home and saying, wow, remember those strange people? They were at the mall randomly, and they were like kissing people. I was like, what are you talking about, dude? No, I do remember because they were a conundrum. They're like the embodiment of a person on messages who a question is written about, but they're confusing because they were both bad, but they were sincere and nice, and you felt bad for them.
Yeah,
but they were just completely.
They seemed harmless, but just
they
didn't have parents or something.
Exactly,
I don't know.
And you didn't know what
they were just
how to think about it.
They were like 14, 15-year-olds, were just always like on their own. I don't know who.
Yeah, it was
they
weird.
weren't siblings. They were just friends. It was very strange.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, that was an interesting time. Why were we talking about that?
I don't know.
Oh, the message.
Anytime I hear the word make out, I just remember that moment.
That's so funny. I haven't thought about that in forever. Wow. Okay.
It was weird.
Well, just don't get married if you got to make out with 100 guys at Rocket Town to do it.
Yeah.
To do business.
To do business. Yeah.
Great answer, Josh.
Don't worry. Don't forget these guys. If you don't want to make out, you don't have to make out. Okay. One day, I'm sure you'll love it. But don't worry.
Not like this. Not like this. Let's get to rank you very much top-rated G movies of all time.
Here we go. They don't make many G-rated movies now. They always find a reason for it to be a PG movie. Unless it's a legacy movie where previous movies in the series were rated G. For example, Toy Story.
Yes.
Why is Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4 rated G? Doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
A movie like The Lion King.
Yes.
Will always be rated G if they make additional sequels.
Why?
Even though it doesn't make sense because the first one should have been rated G. I mean, you see those slow-mo lions slapping each other in the face. That's not G-rated content.
No.
That is a hard PG. Give me your number 5.
All right. I mean, I said like Homeward Bound.
Oh, wow. What a classic.
What did you say?
Toy Story 2.
Okay.
I've only seen Homeward Bound like maybe once.
I just thought it was so cool. It's like the dogs are talking.
I mean,
it's
dogs
like
are
the cats.
things.
Well, Josh, my number 4 was Toy Story 2.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about Toy Story 2. Is that the only Toy Story in your list? Or do you have other Toy Stories?
Oh, I've got others.
Oh, really? So Toy Story 2 is not your favorite Toy Story movie?
No.
Toy Story.
Is it probably? Yeah, probably. But we're going off nostalgia. Blah, blah,
If
blah.
I'm gonna pick one Toy Story to watch, that's the one I'm gonna watch.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
But this when I'm embodying the top G-rated movies, I'm talking about the essence of everything
Okay.
over my entire life.
Okay. All right. What about so that was my number 5. And Toy Story 2 is
what
your
was
number
your-
4?
yeah, what was
my
your-
number 4 is a Goofy movie.
I should have put that on.
I
there.
knew you were
forgot
gonna say
about that one.
What is a hilarious classic movie?
Yeah, it is, Josh.
I remember even at the time when it came out thinking, why did they make a movie about Goofy? And why is it so good?
I know. I don't know. I just added it to my list. My third is Toy Story.
The OG. Okay, is this the final Toy Story on your list?
Yeah.
Okay. 1995. You would have been 4 years old when you were Isaac's age when Toy Story 1 came out. That is strange to think about.
That's right.
All right, my number 3 is Beauty and the Beast. Is that on your list?
No. That movie, Josh,
Fantastic.
well, if you think about it, think deep about the meaning of that movie.
Uh-huh.
You might change your tune.
Okay.
My number 2, are we on number 2?
Yeah.
A Goofy movie.
Oh, okay. Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
I took out. What did I just take out? I took out The Lion King for the Goofy movie because it's
Dang.
just so good. I mean, it's just so good.
Well, funny enough, my number 2 is The Lion King.
Okay. Great movie. The video game was better. What is number 1?
I think Lion King is the best Disney movie that's ever been made.
I probably agree with that, but I still put a Goofy movie.
And my number 1 is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
That's not rated G.
It is, if you could believe it.
That
Even
should have been my number
considering the
1.
tunnel scene.
Yeah. No, that should have been PG-R.
Can you believe there was a time when movies like that got a G rating? Boy, people were a lot tougher back then.
They were, Josh. You know, I'm gonna go with Anne of Green Gables. I don't even know if that has a rating, but I'm saying it's G.
I would imagine.
You're gonna
it's
tell
a
me
G.
that the tunnel scene isn't an R? This is G.
An R.
Horrifying, man.
Yeah. Well, what about when what's his name dies in Anne of Green Gables?
Are you spoiling that for me? Who died?
I don't know, the grandfather guy.
R.
Yeah, that's scary. That's sad.
I don't even
That's
remember
death.
what happens, Josh. I just remember the feeling that Anne of Green Gables
Yeah.
gives me.
It's a classic.
It's just a great feeling. It's a great movie. I need to rewatch it.
There, what are your favorite G-rated movies at home? Let us know. All right. What do we got? Oh, you cannot unsee
Oh,
this.
boy.
Here we go.
I explained to Josh the Beauty and the Beast theory.
I'm
He's
still thinking about it. Jordan, how
Yeah.
you butter your bread reveals hidden layers of our personality. Experts share 9 ways and meanings. So, Jordan,
9 ways and meaning.
how do you are you the glider?
What does that
You
mean?
glide the knife over the toast with an even spread, or do you get total coverage? Or are you a clumper? Or a double cider where you put butter on both sides, or you tear your bread and then put the butter on the bread after you tear it, or barely any there. Tell me which one of these you relate to, and we will talk about.
Yeah. So let's just jump right into this, Josh, because I'm so curious what it's going to say about me. I do not know how to spread butter on a piece of toast, so I'm
That is
probably
correct.
the clumper. Let's go to the clumper. I'm curious. What does this
The
one
clumper. Only 6% of people are the clumper.
say? Only 6%?
Only 6% of people do this.
Oh.
You show up late to appointments because you think you have more time to spare than you do.
Yes.
They are scattered in nature and think outside the box. They're just
Yes.
happy to be eating bread with butter. They
Yes.
don't care about parts of the toast that aren't covered or how the butter is spread.
That's
you?
exactly how I am. There you
Okay.
go.
All right. And then I am barely there.
All right. What's that say about you?
Those who use minimal bread and leave empty space on their bread prefer to enjoy the taste and texture of bread rather than drowning it in a spread. Barely there, people want to spend as little time on breakfast as possible. They have things to do and want to get outside. They are outdoorsy and go-getters and like to live in the moment. They are often satisfied with what they've accomplished. People may find it hard to keep up with them. They're health conscious and use minimal amounts of butter for dietary reasons. Now, I mean,
This is
look,
obviously a biased
yeah, butter
thing.
is clearly better for you than bread is.
What you just said is one of the most triggering things that anybody can ever hear. So don't say that too loud.
Is that really?
Oh, dude. People think butter's going to kill them.
I thought people got over that.
No.
Why would butter kill you?
Because that's what the government has told us. That's why we had COVID-19. Do you understand?
Oh, okay. Because
It's all it all started with the buttered toast. And then we go to COVID. We're just listening to what the government said. What's gonna give me heart disease? Oh, butter.
But fats are good for you.
No, that's what people don't say that. People say that they're bad for you. It's gonna kill you.
But bread isn't?
No, bread is good. Bread is like the biggest chunk of anything that you should be eating. It's carbs.
I thought that they were over this. I thought they were over the food pyramid.
I don't know.
The Illuminati pyramid. All right, I'll read one or two more of these. I'll read the most popular one because people are going to be like, "Wait, hang on, don't leave."
Yeah, I can't believe how much the Clumper described it though.
Yeah, that was strange. The glider. 50% of people are the glider. And again, the glider glides their knife over the toast for an even spread. Gliders slide through life unbothered by any obstacles or stressful moments and are able to stay calm and serene while others are shocked and outraged. They're good at listening to others' problems since they never appear to have any themselves. Does anybody relate to that? I don't think so.
No.
Okay. Well,
What's one more that looks common?
total coverage.
Sure.
19% of people are total coverage. This group of noshers is thought to be very methodical and precise, often making them the organized ones in their friend group. They're probably the ones who plan group activities months in advance. These everything in its place people are very precise and methodical, making sure every part of the toast is covered and applying the perfect amount. Okay, we did
That
it.
is actually very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff there. Okay, let's get to some deep thoughts.
Deep thoughts. Here we go. Now, Jordan, I came across something interesting. Check out this article. Hope in God's Plan. Study reveals religion strengthens family, hope, and unity.
Family hope.
One's religious faith helps bolster family, hope, and unity, according to researchers from Brigham Young University. Their study analyzed in-depth interviews with nearly 200 religious families representing various religions and demographic backgrounds. They found how religious faith serves as a catalyst for hope, contributing to family resilience and unity. The study reveals that participants frequently linked their religious beliefs to hope, emphasizing the profound impact of faith on their outlook on life. In 39% of the discussions related to hope, participants referred to hope as a collective familial trait and value, expressing a shared our hope. So what do you think about that?
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I think that believing in something wouldn't make you less hopeful.
Right.
So it would make you more hopeful. You know what's a little weird about these studies? It gives me the feeling of like the Benjamin Franklin people who are like, I'm not religious, but I can see how it's good for society.
Yeah.
You guys need to believe something, but I'm over this. And so it's fine for you. I'm actually hope that you believe something so that the society is good.
Look, at this point,
That always kind of gives me a weird feeling.
I'll take that at this point.
Oh, me too, but
Well, this was interesting too. It said regardless of their specific religious denominations, including Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, respondents consistently cited their belief in God's active involvement in their life and their faith in an afterlife as sources of hope. So it kind of going along with what you said, it's like just the idea of having some sort of, I feel like having some sort of like a shared value system and like a hope that I'm not the end all be all. There's something greater than me.
yeah.
Is beneficial.
Yeah. I wonder do governments like religion or dislike that people have religion?
I would say they dislike it.
You would think so, but then you would also think that maybe it would make them like it because they can, well, you just need to be like the martyr and like in the like Christian mind, if you kind of take it down a route it probably shouldn't go. It's these Christians who are like, well, look, nothing really matters in this world. I've heard this, especially with the COVID stuff. Nothing really matters in this world because I actually want to be persecuted because of God. And so they're willing for society to basically be completely leveled because of their faith in God, and it doesn't matter.
Interesting.
I've heard this several times, and it was a bit disturbing to me.
Okay.
I can see the mental gymnastics to get to that point, but it's a little weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel realistic. It's like...
So did these people seem hopeful, or are they just like...
They don't care. It's like, I don't really care. It's like, because God's got a plan, and so it's like, okay, but you're still taking the...
That seems like somebody who's not actually happy. They're just trying to find a way to deal with their unhappiness.
Or they're just confused, and this is and their church is saying something, and so they're like, well, I need to love people and just get through this time, so we just need to do... That's kind of... I don't really know. Answer that question this week too, Josh. Do governments like people having religion or not?
I think that they like...
controlled religion.
Yeah, they're okay with it as long as people are complacent about it. Yeah. Like if someone is fervently religious, where they would take the word of their faith or their faith leaders or whatever over the word of a government leader, then they don't like that at all.
Yeah, but if they can kind of control what is being said, and that was what was so disturbing about the COVID stuff, was like the churches were... You could feel them doing like, okay, well, we don't want to upset people, but we don't really believe that we should be shutting down, that we should be doing this, but they're still doing it.
Right.
It really, I don't know, man.
Yeah. I choose to believe that if that was ever tried again in our lifetime, people would be calloused in a good way to it, where it's like, okay, we know how this went the first time. But I choose to believe that it was just such a weird, out of the blue surprise of a thing that happened that by the time it kind of had its grip and its roots in, it happened so fast that people were like, okay. And so because they didn't have that split second of like, no.
Here's the question. Do you think that when Jesus comes back, he's going to come slow and methodical? Or is it going to be fast? You got to make a decision in 2 seconds. What's it going to be?
Is that Jesus?
Too late. He's gone.
Nobody's actually...
We needed the data.
Nobody's actually saved. You find out if you're saved when Jesus is like, hey.
We need the data.
Wait, no, come back. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, we needed the data.
That was him. Was that him?
What? And then the person's gone next to you?
Oh, dude, think about that. That's a funny twist. That would be a funny movie. Like, literally, the rapture is just this split second of Jesus saying, I'm here. And they're like, all right, let's go. And the people that go are raptured. And the people that don't are the... Wait, hold on. I'm a Christian. No, you weren't. You
got a split second decision.
It's like that perfect moment of like, wait, because people always say like, you know, you are saved by no action of your own or whatever.
Yeah.
But in that moment of having to make that decision, is that an action you're taking, or is it literally just within you to be like, I'm going with God now? So it's like,
I'm going with God.
You could be a Christian, but you actually weren't, because in that moment you didn't go with Jesus.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Answer that question in the comments.
Okay. I can't imagine not having some sort of like shared value. Like when I see people, I try to be empathetic and I try to see things from other people's perspective. But when people talk about they don't believe in the idea of God, it's like that doesn't sound appealing to me, to think that I am it. I am the end all be all.
Well, I mean,
nothing else matters. It's like, okay, well, even look, I mean, even if that is true, why is that a good way to live my life? Mm-hmm. So in my head, I would rather subscribe to an ideology that says I'm not the end all be all, because to me that makes more sense as a healthy way to live your life. And so if there is an ideology that already says that and says, look, there are things more important than my happiness or my well-being or whatnot, then that actually benefits my well-being and my happiness to subscribe to that.
This is like looking at what you believe and then talking about what it does for you.
Yeah.
It feels weird.
Yeah.
It's like an end. It's a means to an end. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. I guess I'm just, if you're looking at it from like, oh,
Yeah,
does it give you hope? It's like, well, if we're going to talk about it from that perspective, then yeah, it does.
Definitely.
And I can't imagine.
I can see people who don't believe in things seem way more lost and hopeless.
Yeah.
Even though they feel enlightened.
But, and you
even
know,
if they believe they're right.
right. But I can also see, and maybe this is too much of a tangent, but I can see that within people who are religious, who have made their religion like their church or whatever, that they feel that same hopelessness because on some level it
ends here.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pastor did something bad. It ends there.
Right.
They hurt my family. It ends here.
Right.
You know? Yeah. An interesting thing. And now let's get to, was that deep thoughts?
That is deep thoughts. And now we're talking about
Now-
hope. Now
Hope.
now it gave me hope.
Let's get to hope.
Jordan, I see that vacations give you hope this week.
Not just any vacations, Josh. Cruises. It's the only way to travel, okay? People who are like, I need the cultural experience of the places. I'm like, look, okay, glad that that's you. I'm not that way, all right? I like the touristy stuff because, Josh, it's the countries that are like, hey, we want people to come here. Let's put our best out there and show, hey, this is
Come
I know
off
our
the boat,
country-
enjoy.
Yeah, our countries might be kind of messed up in some senses. Like if you just start walking around, like we know it could be slightly dangerous out here.
Here on these
here-
mean streets.
But here's like the music, here's the vendors, here's what they can make, and it's fun. I enjoy
Like,
that.
every country just kind of like puts forth a little Disney World. Like,
Yeah,
here.
it's a little Disney World. It's fun. I enjoy it. But cruises are great, very cheap. If you don't drink alcohol, if you don't buy extravagant things, and you just want to go, cheapest way to travel because you're just on the ship. Everything's planned for you. There's lots of great entertainment, lots of great shows. You can just relax. Look at the water. It's amazing. And all the food is free. You did pay for it. But the cost of the trip is so low because
I would
they
be afraid
want you to buy alcohol.
I would be afraid I would overeat on the cruise.
Is that the word? Well, there is a buffet. There's a nonstop buffet.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't the cafeteria like just a buffet basically?
Yeah, we don't eat out that.
Oh, okay.
They have a proper dining room.
Oh,
and you
okay.
can eat.
Do you have to
different
like
food.
tip and stuff?
No, but the tip is included with the price of the
That's
stuff.
nice.
So afterwards, depending on what you eat, they have like a price for the food, and so then it's tipped on that.
Okay.
So if you eat at the buffet, you don't pay that tip.
Oh,
But the dining room is very nice, and the waiters are extremely nice. You become friends with them. You learn about their life and their story.
I just never
thing.
thought even to do cruises until after you guys got married and started doing it. But by that point, it was like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't for Sarah. She's the one who got
Right.
us into this.
it's
Good.
Oh well. I would love to. I will go on a cruise. Maybe when the boys are old enough, we'll get to go on.
Yeah,
a cruise.
and they're fun. I mean, they're a lot of fun. Great entertainment, great fun. Very, very cheap if you get them at the right time. I mean, literally, it's the cheapest way to travel, period.
That's cool.
Great time.
Cool. All right, Maya gave me hope this week is just all the positive feedback that we've gotten on this podcast. I had dinner with Classic Will L and
really?
Rebecca.
Wow.
The other day.
Yes.
Did you know they're dating?
I did. Well, you told me.
Yes. So that's super fun. So I went out to eat with them, and
Where'd you
Nectar in Donaldson.
Oh, yes, I know where that is.
Yeah. And we had a great time chatting, and they were telling me that they really enjoy the podcast. And they said, Will said, I feel like I actually get to know Jordan better on that podcast, much more than any other show you guys have done.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool. That feels good. I feel like the podcast is the most us thing
Yeah.
that we've ever done.
It's a fun mix of updates and just random things that we think.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. And anyways, so it's like, as we're kind of starting, we decided let's commit to the podcast for a year and see what happens. And so, I try not to pay attention to how many views is it getting and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I tried just to pay more attention to the comments that we receive, and the comments are all like the most positive, nice comments that we've ever gotten for any video we've ever done. Really.
And we get a lot of comments on this.
I know, it's cool
for the amount of views. The comments that we get, it's really encouraging. So that's
the
cool.
ratio is greater than any other show that we've ever done, I think. So, anyway, so if you guys are, we're on episode 26 now. So you're watching this, really appreciate it, and thank you so much for all the kindness. So that gave me hope this week. I love you all.
Now we're going to get to We Recommend.
We recommend some things. Here we go.
This is funny that you brought up the OC Supertones as your recommend, because I was just listening to them for the first time in like forever.
That's funny.
I think it just popped up randomly on music, that just plays random songs.
Yeah, that's funny.
And that popped up, and I was like, wow, what a great band. That would never exist now.
I know. It was old Christian ska music from the 90s and early 2000s, a band called OC Supertones. I've just been listening to them more lately because the boys like to have dance parties. And so one day I was just like, what's a good dance party song?
Yeah.
Oh, OC Supertones. And so now they love it. They love the horns and everything. So as soon as it comes on, they know it's time to start dancing around.
That's cute.
OC Supertones, super fun band. I think they got started in like 1996.
Wow.
I would have been like
really?
8. Yeah. And they made music for many, many years. But if you like the old ska music, the horns and the rock and all that stuff, it was super fun. OC Supertones.
My recommendation is another Netflix show, Josh. Last week I said Lupin.
Yes.
Which is such a great show.
Can't wait to see it.
This one is a Netflix series called Unchained. Cringy title. Horrible title. Unchained is the only thing I have ever watched about cycling that in the Tour de France that perfectly describes what it like the mentality and what it feels like to be in a race or just life when you are training. Obviously, these guys are training like crazy, and I mean, I can't even compare to anything that they've done. But there is a certain way that your brain thinks and stuff when you're, even if it's in a small degree of what they're thinking. And Unchained is basically a documentary series about the 2022 or 2021 Tour de France. And they followed several of the top riders, and it is just fascinating. It's so well made. It's got that kind of like Netflix feel, you know what I mean? Which is off-putting to me because I don't like Netflix. But this is totally random, so we don't even keep this. But like when they're interviewing somebody and they like sit down and they're like,
I hate that.
And then they always like, if they say something, they always edit like 20 frames of them just sitting there for a long time.
I know.
And it's like, okay, clearly you just edited that.
That's such like a amateur juvenile
it's
editing style. I hate that crap so much.
That annoyed me.
Leave that in.
Okay. But
sick of it.
But really, if it's so good.
Just if you're interviewing someone, just show the interview. You don't have to do all this stylized stuff. Just give me their words.
Yeah.
I always appreciate a documentary that just plays it straight. I don't need all this extra cringe. Anyways, that sounds like a really good documentary.
It's very good, very good. And that was a very interesting Tour de France. A lot of upcoming people, a lot of unusual things that happened. Some top riders that dropped out, some that were upcoming, some that didn't do so well. So it's very interesting. They followed the whole thing. I would highly suggest that, Unchained.
I will have to watch that because I don't have any context for who won or what happened or anything. So I could watch it and let you know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's French.
Okay.
But a lot of they follow an American team as well, so half of it is in English, but the subtitles are very good, and you can watch it with a voiceover as well.
Okay. Real quick before we say goodbye, it's just talking about Netflix. Do you think there's a chance that Squid Game season 2 is going to be any good?
Oh, is that coming out?
I mean, at some point. It's been a couple of years now.
Oh, I don't know. Is it going to be good? Sure.
I worry that they're going to do the Hunger Games thing where it's like, we got to go back to the games. And it's like, yeah, okay, because I know that's what, You know what I
that's
mean?
gonna be dumb.
It's like, so it's gonna be like, oh, how does that guy end up back in Squid Game again? We gotta.
Yeah, you're right. What they need to do is just completely that's over.
That's what
and it's
I
a
hope.
completely different
That's
thing
what I'm hoping
in the real world.
That's what I'm hoping, but
They're not going to do
I
that.
know.
But that's what they need to do. That's the hard thing to do. The easy thing to do is to go back.
The show would have done better, I think, if it had not been so popular and they did another season. But now it's so built up of like, oh, the games, and it's like
I
the
know.
games weren't the
That
point of the
wasn't the
show,
point of it.
dude.
Yeah.
Not even close.
No, they're not going to. They'll miss it. They'll miss that. They don't realize what they have.
I hope the guy understands. Well,
Or no,
we'll
they
see.
do realize what they have, but they're scared to lose it, and they know that the
know.
common person is just interested in that. So it's gonna be.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for watching another episode of our podcast. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Next week. Next Friday.
Next Friday.
Don't miss it.